In this video, we're going to cover the difference between isolate, full spectrum, and broad spectrum. Usually these terms are seen in concentrates, edibles, and tinctures, though what makes something an isolate, a full spectrum, or a broad spectrum? Well, it all has to deal with the cannabinoids being extracted from the hemp or cannabis plant. We can see here a list of cannabinoids that many we have learned about their creation and pathways within the plant. So, what is the real difference between these three? Well, an isolate deals with only one of the cannabinoids at a time. They basically extract just that cannabinoid for use within the product, meaning at its current state, flower can never be an isolate because it contains many cannabinoids and terpenes. Isolates can also be called crystalline. Usually, when something becomes pure enough, it will turn to a crystal form, and that's where it gets its other name. Now for full spectrum. It is the opposite of an isolate, and it takes up all of the cannabinoids and all of the terpenes within the plant, and uses them. However, this also includes THC, which cannot be found within hemp products. Finally, broad spectrum takes all of the cannabinoids besides THC. These products generally include terpenes, however, they cannot as well. Though, how can you be really sure of what you're taking in besides the label that you're given? Well, in most cases, you should always be looking for a test result. A general rule of thumb, if a company doesn't provide a test result, don't buy from them. There are other companies that will. So now let's talk about the pros and cons of each one. In an isolate, the pros are you know exactly what to expect from the single compound you're taking in. By isolating the single compound, it helps you understand which compound helps you most. The cons then being no effects from other cannabinoids unlike full spectrum or broad spectrum, which both take the advantage of the entourage effect. But what is the entourage effect? Well, just like the name insists, an entourage being a group of things, and groups are always better. Well, most of the time. Simple answer, more things are better than one alone. Different cannabinoids react with different parts of your body. They have reactions with many of the receptors within the human body, though not all cannabinoids react on the same parts. So through stacking or adding additional cannabinoids, you are effectively reaching more receptors within the human body at a single given time, giving the greater effect, also known as the entourage effect. Now for the pros and cons of full spectrum and broad spectrum. The main pro being that they benefit from the entourage effect. This is really the reason people choose a broad spectrum or a full spectrum is because of the added benefits of all the other cannabinoids. The only con really is that some people have different reactions to different cannabinoids. Therefore, some people only want compounds they know work for them, not a full spectrum or a broad spectrum. Finally, now that you know you can look at a test result, let's break down a test result so you know exactly what you're looking at. A test result, also known as a certificate of analysis, is generally broken down into three main parts. You can see that here. Then, depending on what is being tested for, this test can get longer or shorter. In the first section, we'll always see the product being tested. In this case, it's a 1500 milligram blueberry wellness drops from the Go Hemp team, and this is actually a real test result from the Go Hemp team website. Next, we will see the batch ID, followed by the day it was tested, and the type of product that was tested. In this case, since they were drops or a tincture, it would be a solution as the product. The test type is a potency test, then followed by the test ID, and the method of testing, which was TM14. I was curious about exactly what this was, so I went to the testing place's website and looked at their knowledge base and found that TM14 tests for the following. And you can see what it tests for here on the screen. Or you can look in section 2. We can see it broken down into three main parts, however only really two give information, unless you're trying to do math for fun. The main section, where we see the list of cannabinoids tested, we can see at the top of the table it broken into sections. The compounds of course being cannabinoids, LOQ standing for limit of quantification, which really just means that this is the lowest amount that they will test for in each compound. We are then able to see results categories from milligram to milliliter and milligram to gram. Usually, you will only see milligram to milliliter if there's a liquid or oil involved. Anytime the test result shows ND, which usually stands for not determined, this is because the amount that was tested was lower than the LOQ threshold. In section 2 also shows a graphic about the percent content of CBD within the product. This time it's milligrams per milliliter, which means within 1 milliliter of this oil, there are 58.1 milligrams of CBD. That's actually really good. We can tell by these test results, this tincture was made from an isolate because we don't see any other cannabinoids listed. Finally, section 3, we have who performed the test and who approved them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next time we will see some additional examples of products and test results. We'll discuss the pros and cons of each product and look at the test results behind each. Until next time, have a great rest of your day.